Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we pick the right topics, get the right guests, ask the relevant questions on issues that matter to you. We're live tonight discussing a very interesting issue. Why are things so expensive? It's something we've had many people complain to us about, whether it's food or fuel, whether it's building materials or whether it's transport fares. There's clearly a challenge with affordability. What is really going on? Tonight, we'll look at the issue from various angles. We'll find the trading angle, we'll find the building angle, we'll find the consumer angle, and we'll also pick some of your comments on how you're getting by. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
Bell Beverages just made 2022 a lot more exciting with the Bell Chill and Win promotion. Simply buy bottles of your favorite Bell Beverages products like Tamarinda, Bell Cola, Puka, Big Boss, Squeeze, Breeze, Bell Malt, and more. Remove at least 20 labels, put them in an envelope with your name and contact. Drop them at any Bell Beverages depot or accredited distributor across the country. Voila! You stand a chance of winning fantastic prizes in the Bell Chill and Win monthly draws announced on TV, radio, and social media. Prizes include home furniture, appliances, hampers of Bell products, shopping vouchers, and the grand prize of a Kia Picanto in the final raffle draw. Remember, the more envelopes you drop, the more your chances of winning. Bell Chill and Win. Everyone is a winner. For more information, call 0544-335800 or 0544-335900. Follow at Bell Beverages on all social media platforms. T's and C's apply. Take note, Bell mixers are now available on Jumia Ghana. Bell Beverages, refreshing the nation. This advert is FDA approved.
Good Day Energy Drink keeps you going. Available in major supermarkets and shops near you. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to your health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. So tonight we inquire into the vexing question of why things are so expensive. TUC recently gave us a catalog of things in terms of price increases. Inflation is 19.4%. Water has increased by 27%. Food inflation is on the rise. Transport fares have gone up as we speak. Some driver unions have increased transport fares for the second time in the year. It was 15% in February. It's now 20%. Some are threatening 30% increase. There's also increase in other things. Iron rods have gone up. Cement price, bread, everything has gone up except salaries. So what is really going on? We're going to tackle this from three angles. We're going to speak to people in the construction sector on why building materials are so expensive. Greta will join us. We'll also speak to the importers, Guta, the largest trading union in Ghana. What is driving this? Is it just the fuel? Or is it the currency that's been falling? Is it profiteering? Or is it the sheer volume of taxes? All of these will be discussed. Before we bring our guests in, we'll take you to the streets of Accra. We spoke to people who buy food and people who sell on affordability. It was a quick vox pop we did on the streets of Accra. Here's what we found.
is now an expensive commodity, trust me. First, you can get beans, egg, and then your plantain as low as 3 cedis, 4 cedis. But as of now, before you can get something, a meal that will be okay, you need to spend as much as 12 cedis, sometimes 15 cedis on it. We all know what's going on in this country. As of today, I'm expecting fuel price to go up as of today. So definitely by next week, for other products will go high.
About beans 4 cities, but looking at the way things are going, the beans 4 city. Initially, when you're holding 4 city, you can buy much, but for
plantain and all.
Yeah, we're plantain and all. But now 4 city you can only get only beans. But for you to buy an extra plantain one is 50 pesos. So you buy 2, 3, 4, making 2 cities. So in a row you buy beans and plantain for 6 cedis, but initially when you're holding even 4 cedi or 3 cedi, you can't eat and be full. Even eating 6 cedi, you won't be full. So unless you buy more than 6, because even the 4 cedi they will sell for you, it's like it's meant for maybe a child or something. This beans is actually meant for 5 people, and everybody bought 10 cedi. So
almost a Bruno Boyade, Cocono Munya, a Janiso Boyade, my feeding in your man, Tennessee, almost so much more home. And they said the created 30 cities. And at 29, 28. First, now creates you bring 14 cities, 13 cities. First pan, the highest pan, I can say pan 17 cities, the highest. It is the highest, you know. The I can see pan say the 35 cities. Yes, ran and ado. Yes, ran and in penifoni na so mo ayen. Say I guess no mo ton koshia no. Omo say as a koshia ba kudu 2 cedi, omo be jai ton. Omeja itomo senya koso ankwa na edwuma de bia ye tutum ni ade ane koso ankwa de chi bia ye tutu nwomam enti yesra ban omo hwe na omo kan wasema yesra mpenifo yesra gana mpenifo nyina so omo hwe na omo ndom boy na omo tete nwoma no so kakra ma high too much enti yesra omo
omani mu ayedin omani de mu ayedin pa ba ebi mu kire se obi a kire na adwen ebi mu se yare no what I say, you be a cardiope, the only day who the right. I didn't go upon a wedding, a bit mature. Go for your call, issue a car. You better desert. What I say, and then some near money, my bet you are 2. What I say, you know, the only day crown, and I'm the one crown, and never should be an away to be your film. Cacre be no be your film. Him, scabby any by a say, I order on some one nipa. What I say, any pants and corner, Tina wedding.
As you saw, lots of complaints, people buy food complaining. Let me show you the behavior of fuel prices from April last year to now. So we have a 12-month behavior of petrol and diesel. It started below 6 cedis. Now it's close to 12 cedis for diesel and close to 10 cedis for petrol. That's the chart I'll show you shortly. So fuel prices have gone up. Some people think fuel prices are the main driver of the situation we're facing. But there are other people who think it's the exchange rate, because we're an import-led economy. The fall of the cedi against particularly the dollar and the pound is what some people think is behind this. Some other people think it's taxes. Somebody went to one of the big shops to make a purchase, and they realized that the VAT calculation had changed. So now you have almost 20% in VAT. So there are many corporates. There's the fuel corporate, there's the exchange rate corporate, there's the tax corporate. The tax corporate affects both the fuel and also normal things you buy. So this person, I think, went to Melcom, one of these shops, bought something for about 300 and something cedis and paid over 400 cedis. The rest, almost 65 cedis in what the person paid was taxes. That's around 20% in taxes. So check this out. Yeah, it looks a bit nasty. Bought something 336 cedis. VAT payable, valuable, the basic amount was 336, NHIL 2.5%, Get Fund 2.5%, COVID 1.5, subtotal 358.95. Then you add VAT of 12.5 on top of that. So it ended up from 336 to 403. Now the difference is around 65 cedis, which is 19.25%. Incredible. 19.25% tax. Let me show you the fuel price behavior quickly. Just show me the fuel chart. It's gone up. Diesel's gone up. Petrol's gone up as well. I think they don't have it. Okay, so let me just come in. So let me start with Apia. So my guests are three. I have in studio the Chief Executive of CATS, Apia Adomakukusi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Bernard.
They discuss competition, consumer interests, so they are on your side. So if something is going wrong with pricing, Apia fights for you. I also have from Greda, Samuel Amegaibo, who's Executive Secretary, Real Estate Developers. I had a chart on cement. I don't know if my guys have it. Cement prices relatively have gone up as well. Iron rods, so expensive. Amegaibo, thanks for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening.
Great. And I also have the Vice President of GUTA, which is the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Charles Jan. Mr. Jan, thanks for joining us. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good. So I've listed, or I've proposed a few things. I've proposed fuel. I've proposed the exchange rate. I've proposed taxes. And then let me add the last one. Just Ghanaian pricing culture.
Yes.
So those are the four factors I've proposed for our discussion. Who do I start? Who wants to go first? Let me start with Charles. You are good. You are the trader, so you know money quickly. Of the things I've proposed, fuel price hikes, currency depreciation, tax build-up, and pricing culture. Which of these four is the most important driver of the complaints people are saying things are expensive? Which of these, or rank them in your order of importance, Charles?
Okay. Thank you very much. And my regards to all traders in Ghana. If I'm ranking the things that you've mentioned in order of, I will go for exchange rates, fuel, taxes, and lastly, the price culture of the Ghanaian businessman. It is the last because there is this perception that we businessmen increase prices the way we want, and we don't consider the consumer. And that perception is totally wrong in this modern trend, because there is so much competition. There's nothing like monopoly. There is so much competition. And I tell you, when you come to Mokola, Okanshi, everywhere, everybody you find there is an importer. All those people you see in the market are importers, and we buy from common markets. So it will be very wrong for you to price yourself out of business. The competition is extremely, very high. So it is not about the prices, but no, it is about the fuel, the exchange rate, especially the exchange rate, and more so the benchmark that was reversed recently. People are not talking about that, but we want government that when you reverse these things, it is going to have ripple effects, and we've started seeing it.
So for you, you rank exchange rate number 1, fuel number 2, tax build-up number 3.
Taxes will come in as number 3, yeah.
And pricing
because
culture number 4.
When we are talking, you see, fuel, when we're talking about fuel, it's not about the local fuel that we use for the transportation. It is about the freights that we're also paying. People are forgetting about freights. I thought you would have brought in, because freight increased to 13.5. Now it's roving about 13,000. Now it's about 10,000. From 3,500 to 13,000, and now it's about 10,000. You understand? And when you put all these things together in our pricing, it's very, very astronomical. Because you see, our pricing is not just about when we go out to the open market to buy, we buy in dollar. All right. We understand that raw materials everywhere has also gone up. So the effect of COVID, yes, is having a toll on us. All right. But I think we must also look at the other things that is also affecting prices.
We'll come back and break it down. So you want me to add one more factor? You want me to add freight to the factors?
Yes, freight, yes.
Freight, fine. Let me come to Greda. Greda, so I have 4 or 5 factors now. I have fuel, exchange rate, tax build-up, I have pricing culture, and now, thanks to GUTA, I have freight. If I were to ask you to rank which of these is driving the high prices? Because I'm told in your sector, iron rods going up, cement is also going up. Is this correct? If it is, which of these factors are driving those increases?
Yeah, good evening to your viewers and my colleague panelists who are on this program. Bernard, I also listed freight as one of the important things that you left out. So now that has been added, that makes it okay. You know, with us as real estate developers, all these factors that you have mentioned are leading to the high cost in building materials. And as soon as this building materials goes up, or the general pricing goes up, which are as a result of fuel and other things, labor also goes up automatically and adds up to the problem that we are having. And so for us, all the factors that you have listed are contributing to the high cost of our production. And it will be difficult for me to rank them as you want, but I think what you left out is general international price hikes. For us, dollar may not be too much, even though it is an important factor, because most of our products are dollar indexed, most cases by our developers. The dollar exchange rate may not be too much of an issue, except that it will add up to the untold hardship of the prospective buyers. But for us as developers, because we normally index it to the dollar exchange rate may not be too much of an issue. But the general price hikes as a result of the international prices that are going up, and then the freight costs, as my brother just said, I think freight is now in excess over 300% per most of the importers that we work with. And then another factor which sometimes politically people don't want us to add, the Ukraine war is definitely a factor. I mean, some of our building materials come from these two major countries. We are told that iron rods, for example, about 40% of our iron rods come from this region where this war is heavily affected. So, I mean, looking at it, the general price hikes.
So let me ask you, in the building industry, which of the raw materials are your main cost drivers?
Cement and iron rods, I would say.
Cement and iron rods.
Iron rods, yeah. They are the two dominant materials that we have. All the other materials have I mean, seen increments. But these two are the major ones that when it occurs, it goes down to drastically affect.
Can you explain the rate at which cement prices are going up? Because I thought we have local cement companies. Diamond Cement, Gasem is supposed to be here. Ibrahim Mahama Jata is here. Dangote is also around. Competition is there. Yeah. So cement prices, so how are cement prices behaving?
Well, for the cement prices, we must understand that the most important or the dominant raw material, which is clinker, it's not in this country. It is imported, and that is where the problem is. And clinker forms 90%, 95% of the material for cement. And so if you are importing about 95% of your material from overseas, and all of them are hit by the factors that we have mentioned, which includes the dollar exchange rate, the freight, the general international high price, and now the Ukraine war, it goes to tell you that there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, our even some of the factories that you listed, they are not even in actual production of cement. They are just bagging cement. And so the effect of local production with cement, it doesn't really contribute much to saving the situation that we find ourselves in right now. The only parts of Ghana that we can get some small amount of clinker is somewhere in the north, in the Savannah area. And the quantities that they obtain from there is less than what the Savannah cement factory even produces for us. And so we are hit. I mean,
all right. So for you in the building industry, freight is more important than even fuel and exchange rate.
Yes, and the general international hikes in the prices.
General international hikes. Because most of our building materials are imported. Fair enough. Yeah. I'll come back to you. Let me come to Apia. Apia, you are an economist. So I gave the 5. Guta wants me to start with exchange rate and then fuel. Then they say taxes and freight before pricing culture. Grader is saying freight, general international price hikes before the other factors. What would you place by way of emphasis?
So I'll start with exchange rate.
Okay.
Because exchange rate will feed into the pricing culture, especially for importers. When they want to import, they will look at the worst case performance of the cedi. So they want to price their thing in such a way that they will not lose when they are going for the next order. For that reason, they need to increase their prices so high that they can get enough returns to be able to import. And then the fuel prices, taxes is fourth. The reason why I place taxes at the fourth rank is that most Ghanaians are not even aware of taxes, with the exception of the e-levy, which took a different dimension. I mean, most businesses will not, and also most businesses are also not paying taxes. So taxes, for me, comes very at the bottom, at least, before freight.
So for you, exchange rate is number 1.
Pricing
culture is number 2.
Fuel
is number 3.
Taxes
number 4 before freight. Although I showed you a chart for taxes. I mean, if you look at the way they calculated if you can put that up again for me. Somebody bought something from one of the supermarkets, something that cost 368 cedis. The guy paid 403 cedis. And there were about 4 main taxes. Look at that. So the basic amount is 338 cedis. The vatable amount was 338 cedis. Look at the breakdown. NHIL 2.5, Get Fund 2.5, COVID 1%, VAT 12.5 on top of the. I mean, are you you understand? The VAT was charged.
The VAT was charged
on the 358, not on the 338.
Yeah, which is also.
So that's a change in the law. So now the VAT. So when you put everything together, the difference between the amount the guy paid, 403 cedis, and the 338 that was the cost of the item was, 65 cedis in taxes. That's 20%.
20%.
That's 1/5 of the cost of everything you bought. This is serious. That's very high.
Our VAT rate is 1/5. It's almost 20%.
Yes.
And so anything that you pay for, government is taking 20% of it in the form of taxes, which I think is too high. I'm going to go to most countries, for example, sales taxes come to a maximum of 7%. Of course, in Europe it's high. VAT is in some countries is 22%. But when you look at what people get in return for how much they pay, it is kind of proportional. But in Ghana, it seems that the taxes are too high. There are a lot of taxes. And the issue about taxes in this country is that the taxes are being put only on those who are already paying. And so there's a huge constituency of Ghanaians who are not paying taxes.
Are you talking about direct or indirect? Because everybody who buys something pays tax. Are you talking about direct taxes or indirect taxes?
Okay, let us unpack the two. Let's start with the direct taxes. There was a study by the Ghana Revenue Authority that Kumasi is a very big economy, but yet the tax contribution from that enclave is very low compared to Accra and other regions. Why? Because of how the nature of the informal sector economy, which has taken over Kumasi. But now, because government is not making a lot of revenues from the direct taxes, they have gone to the low-hanging one. So let's slap it indirect taxes, so that even if you are even dead before they bury you into the ground, you still have to pay your indirect taxes. But what most countries have done over the years is that, especially in the US, they have shifted the taxes from indirect to direct taxes. But in Ghana, I don't know why it has taken our politicians a long time for them to do that. If you look at even e-levy, e-levy for me is a needless tax. Government could have come to the real estate industry, property taxes. There are a lot of people who are working in the formal sector because their income do not merge. They are not able to pay the correct income tax bracket. In some countries, you can work in 20 areas, but at the end of the month, all your income will merge in the dashboard of the Revenue Authority.
And they know how much you earn.
Yes,
but in Ghana, we don't have that.
We don't have that. And number two, the other issue is the economy is also informal. But for that one, we can't do about the informality of the economy. What we can do is that we have the tools to be able to tax the informal sector.
We'll come to that. I just want to take a short break. We're talking about why things are going up. There's a graphic front page that I'm sure Guta will be interested in. Guta, you say the benchmark is part of the cost. Well, graphic today says reduction in benchmark values cost us 9 billion cedis. So I want your reaction to that when we come back. Greater as well. Why are you importing all your building materials? Didn't God put us in Ghana to use the things in Ghana to build? Why do you have to import? Why are you telling me that Ukraine is affecting building materials? Seriously. Don't you have materials in Ghana you can use to build? We'll talk about that when we come back. This is the point of view. Stay with us. Welcome back. So tonight on A Point of View, we're trying to examine the factors affecting recent price hikes of everything from fuel to food, from transport fares to even water. My guests are Apia Adomakukusi, who's the Chief Executive of CATS. I also have Mr. Samuel Amegaibo, Executive Director of Greater Ghana Real Estate Developers, and Charles Jan, Vice President of Guta. Guta, I'm coming back to you. The CATS consumer protection gentleman in studio, who's also an economist, thinks apart from the exchange rate, pricing culture is one of the reasons. In fact, he thinks the exchange rate determines your pricing culture. Because the exchange rate falls, or because the city doesn't do well, you have to shield yourself for your next consignment. So it determines your pricing culture. What's your quick reaction to that?
I think I would totally disagree to the gentleman, unfortunately, because we are in a system whereby, as I said earlier, the competition is very tough. There's nothing like monopoly in Ghana again. Everything that is being imported, Ghana is an import-driven economy. We shouldn't forget about that. So everything that we are selling is imported. And there's lots of competition, as I said, in the markets. Gone were the days that we had few importers. Now, almost 90% of those you find in the markets, in the shops, and sometimes those who sell by the roadside are importers. And we buy from a common market. So, excuse me to say, it will not make sense for you to come and increase your product and say that you want to make margins on your... No. Because when you increase, you are pricing yourself out of business, totally out of business. I'm telling you the truth, totally out of business. So I don't agree. We used to say that, yes, we used to say, but in the modern trend, it cannot happen. It cannot happen, because when take for instance, I import kitchenwares. Mm-hmm. The kitchenwares, plastics. We are almost over 100 who are doing that in Okanshi. Only in Okanshi and Mokola. And you are telling me that when I bring my wares, I can take advantage and increase. And you expect that the other person sitting somewhere in the corner will also... No.
So what has Guta been saying to government? You were saying before the break that we should blame the benchmark value for what you mean hold on. The benchmark value was reduced between April 2019 and the last budget, and as I speak, the reduction hasn't been reversed. So why are you blaming the announcement of the intended reversal? Because there was a lot of up and down. It's not as if the reduction was even reversed. So why are you blaming that for the price hike?
The reduction was reversed some few months ago. And the effect is what we are seeing.
Seriously?
The effect is what we are seeing. Yes. The reduction was not done in 2019. It was done somewhere in 2021 thereabout, if my memory serves me right. And that is what we are seeing, because we told government that we are in a COVID era, whereby prices of goods are shooting up. So when you do that, it is the poor consumer who will suffer, because it will not make sense that when I import and the duties goes up, I will take it because I am a Father Christmas. No. So we want government, and it is not intentional. As I said, you see, we are in a competitive world. We are so competitive in pricing that if you decide to price yourself, you are out of business one time. And the customers are, excuse me to say, they are very intelligent. When they come to you and your goods are expensive, they will tell you, try me back. The next moment, they are gone, and they will not come back. And nobody wants to lose their customers. So we told government that, look, we are not in opposition to the reversal, because Ghana needs money, you need money. But watch the timing. The timing is very important, because you see, the reversal of the benchmark even affects raw material prices. I don't know if you know about that. It affects raw material prices, because we're all enjoying it. And it also affected everything. It used to be 12 commodities, but finally they put it on everything that is imported. So, well, but we are saying that, look, Ghanaians should be a bit patient. I traveled recently from Dubai. I came on Saturday. And I realized something, that what is happening is not only Ghana. Sometimes we should all agree and stop the politics. Those who know, those who understand the system should help understand explain to Ghanaians. When the last time I went to Dubai was 2019, that was the last time I traveled. And the human traffic was very massive. This time when you go to Dubai, it's as if something is wrong. And I understood it. Because China is still closing its borders, and so many people are getting their this thing from China. Raw material prices have shot up so much in China, and even you don't get that, the time for production has also gone up.
Fair enough.
1 month now is gone to 2 months.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on your solution. Let me do Greta briefly. Mr. Mgaibo, I'm a bit baffled. You're saying that clinker, because it's imported, is what drives the cost of building materials. I thought God put us here to use local building materials. We have so much sand, we have so many stones. Why should the two most important components of our building depend on freight charges, as an example?
Okay, Bernard. I mean, you have to place the blame where it has to be placed. Grader or real estate developers are users of building materials that are available. I don't think anybody is refusing to use any locally made material. What is happening is that, first of all, the general population,
we are losing.
Their taste for has gone beyond food and clothing. It has gone beyond food and clothing, and it has gone into even housing and many other things. Apart from that, the economic of steel, with the skill of some of this material that will require to use on the market has not been there. For a very long time, ourselves and many stakeholders have tried to engage government to understand the need to support local productions for building materials. But the support hasn't come. So the materials themselves are not there on the market on the scale that we require. You remember we have Building and Road Research Institute in Ghana. Let's find out what government has used this institute to do in terms of buffing up or increasing local materials as inputs for construction. Nothing. They have not even used an institution that has been established by government and has been there waiting to help us. We don't. The Building and Road Research Institute had a product called Pozzolana cement, for example. It has very good properties. If you compare it against the Portland cement, it has a lot of properties. But what has happened to that production? Because we did not support its usage and it has gone down. Government could not issue a simple caveat or an instruction to its district assemblies You know, government is the biggest spender in construction. To inform and instruct that a percentage of Pozzolana cement from BRRI should be used for our housing or for our projects. It never happened. And the struggled production they have on the market for us to buy. So Greda is not to be blamed for local material issues. It is government that has not supported local material production. We have a lot of boys and people selling doctrines by the roadside. What have we done to assist them?
All right. We are having challenges with your line, so I'll come back to you. Api, I just wanted to get your thoughts on some of the points raised. So Guta is saying the benchmark value reversal, albeit brief, is what is driving the price hikes in their view. Greda is also saying they reject my claim that they are not doing enough to use local materials. They are blaming the government for not supporting the development of local building materials. What are your quick thoughts from a consumer point of view?
Okay, I think for Guta's position has always been known on the benchmark value. You know, Guta is always importing, so they want cheap import. And on one side, when you keep importing into your country, you dampen manufacturing. And a time will come where your local industries will collapse. But I think there was a policy rationale for government bringing the benchmark value back to where it was before it came down, so that we can be able to grow domestic industries. When the COVID came, if it wasn't the local factories that we had, we could have all suffocated to death here because we couldn't get anything in. So that is one. On the building material prices, I think that we need to look into our culture and look at what will be good for us. I was in Malawi 3 months ago, and almost every house you see, they use bricks. It's like you find in the UK. So they don't import cement in high quantity that we do. So if government were to come with a policy that, look, the national housing policy is this is how we are all going to build. So assemblies must enforce that. If they come and you are not if you are not using that standard, maybe they will not even give you permit. Like if you go to some countries, for example, they have a housing code. So you can't do the way that you must follow the building code. And that is what we are lacking. I think we have allowed things to people's preferences to drive certain things. So I think there's something that government can do. On the Pozzolana cement, I think BRRI is a research institution. And I think we should be able to decouple the research and the commercialization from that institution. There should be an off-taker business that will be able to take it and market it like other products are being marketed. That is where the nexus is. And I think if we are able to do that, maybe I think our own Just Fund can be a very good example.
Let's talk about two quick things. I'm told the ECG and the Ghana Water Company have both proposed tariff adjustments. I'm told ECG is proposing 148%, Ghana Water 336%. If you look at all the things that have gone up, food, fuel, everything else, this meeting to discuss this is when? Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
What are you going to argue in that meeting as a consumer agency?
So, I mean, for me, I think electricity tariffs need to go up.
Hey.
And I think...
You think tariffs need to go up?
Yes. I mean, we can't be irrational because most of the items that the ECG is using, they are importing them. And also, you look at crude oil is also being imported into the country with all the dollar and exchange rate. And if we don't permit the utility companies to increase their prices, what it means is that there wouldn't be the required investment that are required to keep the system running. And so one day suffer a sudden heart attack in the country whereby our electricity will go down. And if we suppress increase in tariffs, what it also means is that there will not be any incentives for investors to come into the sector, especially those are the IPP sector. But two things. One is the level of increase. Is it what consumers are willing to pay. And two, ECG has a lot of losses. Currently, their system losses are about 22%. I was checking the data. Even Angola has about 9%. Cameroon is 11%. And 22% is almost a fifth of whatever power that comes to ECG is not accounted for. So if ECG was to invest in research and technology and be able to get income from those who are not paying, maybe they will not go to PRC to ask for 148%. Maybe they will ask for 50%.
We'll pause there and come back and talk more about this. So he's saying that he agrees with the ECG tariff adjustment, but it depends on the level. Ghana Water is also asking for 336, and I'm already listing all the things that have gone up. You are going to add electricity and water. This is going to be serious. We'll be right back. This is The Point of View. Don't go away. Welcome back to The Point of View. Quite incidentally, almost everything that has gone up begins with an F. Fuel prices have gone up. Transport fares have gone up. Food prices have gone up. Freight has gone up. So all starting with F. Then we have building materials, cement, and rent. All gone up. Now we have tariffs, proposal, electricity and water to go up. You say you support ECG.
Yes, I support the principle that tariffs need to go up to make ECG to be able to go on its mandate. If ECG is deprived of increment, what it means is that ECG may not be able to invest, and we are told that most of the grid line, most of the cables and other things are old, that needs replacement. And we might go back to the Doomsaw era.
So the power sector tariff adjustments are justified?
Are justified.
What about water?
Water is also justified because the water company buys chemicals. Chemicals are imported into the country. Freight costs, freight prices have gone up. Exchange rate has gone up. And even the cost of buying those items have also gone up between the last time tariffs were increased. And so we need to allow these firms to be able to get some increment so that the business will be sustainable model. When it's sustainable, people will find the appetite to also come in.
But how are consumers going to pay? Everything is gone up. You want to do water 336%, electricity almost 150%. I mean, these are consumers. You heard them talk about. Consumers will die.
Yes, that is the problem. I mean, the consumers will die. But let me say that the increase, when UCG is asking for 148, that's their request. But PRC may give them, if you look at the historical data, they always get less than half of what they are requesting for.
So they shouldn't get up to 100?
Yes.
Probably about 50?
Maybe 50, and then they may even have to spread it over 3 or 4 years.
What about water?
Water, they may not get anything. Well, I don't speak for PRC, but if you look at the historical data, the maximum they may get will be 40 or 50%. But that one too will be staggered over the period.
So my final question to you before the others: what's the most important thing government needs to do to protect consumers? Or right now, that's not the issue. Government needs to raise revenue. So consumer protection is not the issue.
No,
I'm talking generally, not just on power, not just tariff. I'm talking generally. After all we've discussed, consumers say they are suffering. What's the most important thing government should do to cushion people? Is it raise salaries or what?
No, I think government should be very careful about its actions that will cause the cedi to depreciate. Because sometimes government actions sends bad news to the investors, and that will send the cedi falling down.
So the most important factor for you is the currency?
Yes, the currency. Once the currency is stable, prices are stable in the country. Even fuel prices. When the Ukraine war goes off, possibly we expect it to, the war will not be forever thing. Crude oil prices will start going back to its historical level. But unfortunately in this country, prices never recover. Because here, the cedi and dollar has conspired against the prices. So we'll not be able to get reduction in utility prices, in fuel prices. In most countries like US and Europe and other countries, when the crude oil prices go down in the world market, they also feel it. But here, we may not feel it that much because the cedi has worked against us. And so government...
Is it not government that takes the windfall?
When
the government has a budget, the price, the projected price in the budget is around $60-something. When the price on the world market goes about $90, they don't give us the benefit.
Yes, but it also increases the demand for forex. And that increase in demand for forex will also cause the cedi to also go up. And government expected, government has also borrowed foreign loans. That means that the savings that government is even making would also be used to pay the foreign loans that government has, secured. So nobody benefits whenever the price...
So that's the most important thing. Let me come to Guta as we wrap up. Guta, what's the most important thing that needs to happen to cushion Ghanaians with all the things we've discussed? Guta. Mr. Guta, are you there? Mr. Jan? Hello? Okay, okay, let me find out Greater. Is Greater there? Sam Amega Ibo.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. What is the most important thing government needs to do to ease the burden on consumers?
I think I will also say that government has to be cautioned against the actions to promote the collapse of companies. Because the issue of taxes, for example, is one of the things that I wanted to have a bite on. We think that government is indirectly benefiting from the increment in international prices from taxes. Because if there are tax components that are a percentage of the prices, I think government is indirectly benefiting. If a tax component of an item for 100 cedis is 10%, and government was getting 10 cedis out of it, now government is getting maybe 15 cedis because of the increment, which has gone from 100 to 150. So I think government should look at the taxes that are a percentage base so that they can either bring it to the original tax and put it at a flat rate, or just look at the tax component of all these things and bring it down. If we don't work on these things and it's all about taxes, an increment in taxes and collecting taxes, all that will happen is that companies will rather collapse and government will not have the opportunity to collect the tax at all. So they should look at these things very carefully and ensure that businesses survive. That should be the prime, that should be of importance to government, to ensure that businesses survive so that they can survive and contribute to taxes. But the way we are going and everything is tax increment here, tax increment there, and also, as I said, the taxes of commodities that are coming in, which are a percentage base, should be looked at and then pegged at a flat rate within this period. Or we should just take certain taxes off within this period for businesses to get some relief so that we can continue to grow, provide jobs for the people, because already salary increment and other things are already an issue. Now we will get to a point where there will be job losses and we are going to overburden everybody. So I think government should look at this things very carefully.
All right. I don't know if Guta is. I wanted to give Guta the last word.
Yes.
Yes. What's the final thing? 1 minute.
I think I agree with my my colleague panel members, but I think government should also look at the way he tries to raise money by increasing tax. Few people have been targeted, and GRA as an institution must back up. I think they are being very lazy. GRA is not helping matters. They are very, very lazy. Because if you look at the number of people who are in the informal sector who are not contributing to anything, it's a pity. And we still have them in the system. And GRA is not even trying to put in measures that can rope all those people. So the few people who are paying tax are those who are always burdened.
All right.
And it will get to a point that we are going to lose businesses. And when we lose businesses, there's going to be increment in unemployment. And it is a disaster.
Thank you.
So government be very careful.
So GRA should stop the laziness. Thank you.
Yes, of course. DRA should stop the laziness.
Charles,
because they are institutes who have been set up to raise taxes. So why is it that there are people they know who do not pay taxes and they cannot go after them or come out with policies that will rope those people into it?
Thank you very much.
Masons, carpenters, and all those people.
Thank you very much. Charles John, he's the Vice President of GUTA. We also had Samuel Amegaibo, who's the Executive Secretary of Greater. In studio, I had Apia Akusi Adomako, who's the West Africa Regional Director of CATS International. Thank you for watching. We've been discussing why things are so expensive, and I outlined the factors. We'll be back with more on this later. The Business Dashboard is next. Stay with us.